There's a moment many men don't talk about. It doesn't come all at once, it sneaks in slowly. You wake up one morning and the energy you used to count on just isn't there. You feel a little heavier, slower, quieter inside. You brush it off at first. Maybe you didn't sleep well. Maybe it's stress. But then it happens again and again. You're not as quick on your feet. You're not as sharp in conversation. And when it matters most, in those private, quiet moments with your partner, something's missing. You lie there wondering, why didn't my body respond the way it used to? It's not just about manhood. It's about identity, confidence, the feeling of being fully alive. That quiet strength you used to carry, it starts to feel like a memory. Frank, a 68-year-old retired mechanic from Ohio, told me something that stuck with me. He said, "Doc, I still love my wife, but when I see the look in her eyes, the concern, the disappointment, it makes me feel like less of a man. And I hate that." And he's not alone. There are thousands of men who wake up each day asking themselves, is this just what aging feels like? Is this it for me now? And that's the part that hurts most, the silence. No one teaches us how to talk about these things. We're told to man up, to be strong, to push through it. So we stay quiet, we pretend, we cope. But inside we feel it, that slow drift away from who we used to be. And if you've ever felt that, you're not weak, you're not broken. You're simply facing something that no one prepared you for. Because here's the truth, this isn't just about age. It's not about losing your manhood. It's about your body sending you signals, quiet warnings that it's missing something you can restore. James, 71, said to me, "I thought I was just getting old, but once I understood what was really going on inside me and made a few changes, it was like someone turned the lights back on." You see, this next chapter of your life doesn't have to be one of decline. It can be a return to strength, a return to dignity, and yes, a return to feeling like a man again. You've carried others for years. You've worked, provided, and endured. Now it's time to take care of you, the way you deserve. Because what you're about to learn could change everything. Let me explain.
Hi, I'm Dr. Sarah Kline. I've spent over 30 years working with men over the age of 60. Men just like you. Fathers, veterans, retirees, hard workers who've given their lives to others and now find themselves facing a very different kind of challenge. Not at work, not in the gym, but in their own bodies. A challenge no one warned them about. Over the years, I've seen men come into my office with quiet eyes and heavy shoulders. They don't say it outright, but I can feel it. They're tired, they're frustrated, and most of all, they're scared that the best parts of their manhood might be behind them. But here's what I always tell them, and what I want you to know today. You are not broken. You are not done. What you're going through isn't a punishment. It's a signal, a message from your body that something needs attention. And when we give your body what it truly needs, amazing things can happen. That's why I'm here. Not to sell you some quick fix, not to push pills or empty promises, but to show you the truth based on real science, real food, and real stories of men who've turned their health around naturally. Let me tell you something most, even doctors, rarely say out loud. It's not your age. It's your deficiency. The problem isn't that you're getting older. The problem is that your body is quietly running out of what it needs to stay strong, energized, and, yes, fully functional as a man. You see, after age 60, things begin to shift inside your body. Your ability to absorb vitamins like D, B12 and magnesium starts to drop. Your nitric oxide levels, which help blood flow where it matters most, begin to fall. And your cells don't fire up the same way in the morning because key nutrients and hormones are missing. But here's the powerful truth. This isn't permanent, it's fixable. What feels like aging, the fatigue, the weak mornings, the lack of drive, the uncomfortable silence in the bedroom, those are not signs of you being old. They're signs of your body missing fuel. Like a car with no oil. It's not broken. It just needs something simple to get running again. James, a 73-year-old grandfather, once told me, "I thought I needed a prescription, but what I really needed was a morning routine that fed my body instead of draining it." He started small, just one food change every morning, and within a few weeks, he had more energy, better mood, and yes, stronger performance. No drugs, no embarrassment, just the right nutrients at the right time. That's what this video is all about, giving your body what it's asking for naturally. You don't need to fight your age, you just need to fuel it right. And it all starts with a single powerful food, one that supports your circulation, your energy, and your manhood right from the very first meal of the day. Let me show you what it is and how it helped one man turn everything around.
Let's talk about one food that can change everything. It's not fancy, it's not expensive, and it's definitely not a new discovery. But it just might be the missing piece that helps restore your blood flow, your energy, and your mornings. It's beetroot. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, "Really, Doc, a vegetable?" Hear me out. This isn't about becoming a health nut or chewing on raw roots. This is about understanding what your body is really asking for, especially after 60. You see, beetroot is rich in something called nitrates. When you eat it, your body converts those nitrates into nitric oxide, a natural gas that helps your blood vessels relax and open up. Think of it like WD-40 for your arteries. It smooths out your circulation so that blood can move more freely, especially down there. That's why beetroot is now being studied for its effects on erectile strength, morning energy, and even mental clarity. But let me make this real for you. I want to tell you about Frank. Frank is 67 years old. He lives just outside of Milwaukee, and he worked as a forklift operator for most of his life. Sturdy guy, kind eyes, big heart. When Frank first came in to see me, he didn't come in for energy or bedroom issues. He actually came in for blood pressure. But about 10 minutes into our conversation, he got quiet. He looked down, fiddling with his hands. Then he said something I'll never forget. "Doc, my wife, she still reaches for me at night, but I just lie there pretending to sleep because I know I won't respond the way I used to." You could feel the pain in his voice. Not just embarrassment, but sadness. He loved his wife. He wanted to be close to her, but he felt like his body had betrayed him. Frank had tried medications. They worked, kind of, but they gave him headaches, made his face flush, and he hated how artificial it all felt. "It's like borrowing manhood," he told me. "It doesn't feel like mine." So I asked him a question. Are you open to trying something natural? Just a simple morning shift that could help your blood flow without the side effects. He nodded. I told him about beetroot, how it's been used for centuries to support circulation, how it's now backed by studies showing improved oxygen delivery, better stamina, and even support for healthy blood pressure. But most importantly, how it could help restore his body's own ability to send blood where it's needed. So we started small. I gave Frank two options. Add half a cup of cooked beets to his breakfast, he roasted them the night before, or blend a beetroot smoothie with banana and a few walnuts for flavor. Frank chose the smoothie. He said it was easy to drink and surprisingly tasty. Now, here's the part that gives me chills. On day 7, he sent me an email. Subject line, "Doc, it happened." In the message, he wrote, "I woke up this morning and felt something I haven't felt in almost a year. No meds, just me and her." And she cried, Doc. Not because I was back, but because we were back. That moment, that spark, didn't come from a pill. It came from helping his body do what it was designed to do. All it needed was the right signal. And for Frank, beetroot was that signal. Now, to be clear, it's not a magic bullet. It's not one beat and boom. But when you give your body a steady supply of nitrates, from beets, arugula, or even beetroot powder, your circulation begins to shift. You may start to feel warmer in the mornings. You may notice that your hands and feet are less cold. You may experience more frequent morning stirrings, a sign that blood is finally flowing again. And emotionally, you begin to feel more in control. Not like a passenger in your own body, but like the driver again. Frank stuck with his morning beetroot routine. He emailed me again after 30 days. He'd lost 5 pounds, was walking more, and said his wife kept winking at him like they were dating again. And honestly, I love that. Because it means more men are discovering that they're not powerless. They just need to start their day with intention and the right ingredients. If you've been feeling sluggish, disconnected, or frustrated with your body's responses, beetroot might be one of the simplest, most powerful tools to help you feel like yourself again. And it's just the beginning. Because when you pair beetroot with another natural circulation booster, something found in everyday nuts and seeds, the results can be even more powerful. Let me introduce you to Samuel and the second morning food that helped him reignite his life.
Let's build on what we started. If beetroot helps open the doors of your blood vessels through nitric oxide, then this next nutrient is like the key that unlocks their full potential. I'm talking about L-Arginine, one of the most important amino acids for circulation, stamina, and yes, manhood. Here's why it matters. L-Arginine helps your body create more nitric oxide, the very same compound that beetroot activates. But instead of coming from plant nitrates, L-Arginine gives your body the raw material to make nitric oxide on its own. It's like having 2 engines powering the same machine. One gives the spark, and the other keeps the engine running. Now, why is that important after age 60? Because your body's ability to make nitric oxide drops sharply with age. Stress, poor sleep, low testosterone, and even certain medications can all make things worse. That's why so many men feel like their blood isn't flowing the way it used to, especially down there. But the beautiful thing is, L-Arginine is natural. It's found in foods like walnuts, almonds, pumpkin seeds, chickpeas, and lentils. And it's also available in supplement form, though for most men, food sources work beautifully. I want to introduce you to someone who saw this change for himself. His name is Samuel. Samuel is 72 years old, a retired school principal from North Carolina. He's soft-spoken, always wears a watch, and once told me he's been married longer than most people have been alive. When he came to see me, he wasn't worried about cholesterol or blood sugar. He was worried about his marriage. Not because of arguments or distance, but because intimacy had all but disappeared. He said something I'll never forget. "Doc, I love my wife with all my heart, but I haven't touched her in months. Not because I don't want to, but because I'm afraid I can't." He looked away when he said it, like he'd failed at something sacred, and I could see the weight that carried. Samuel had tried over-the-counter enhancers once or twice, but they made him feel jittery and the effect felt forced. He said, "It didn't feel like me. It felt like I was cheating, not on her, but on my body." So I asked Samuel what he ate for breakfast. He laughed and said, "Toast and coffee, same thing every day since the 80s. That's when I introduced him to L-Arginine, and specifically walnuts. Walnuts are packed with L-Arginine, healthy fats, and compounds that help support testosterone and brain health too. I gave him a simple morning routine: a banana, a small handful of walnuts, 1 cup of almond milk, a teaspoon of honey, optional, a scoop of beetroot powder, which he'd already started using. He blended it into a smoothie and drank it first thing every morning. Just like Frank, Samuel wasn't expecting a miracle. He just wanted to feel something again, even a flicker of energy or spark. On day 10, he called my office. He didn't say much. He just asked if it was normal to start feeling a little more awake in the mornings. I smiled and said, "Yes, Samuel, that's your blood remembering what to do." By week 3, things had changed. He told me he was waking up feeling more like himself again. Not 25 years old, but also not invisible. And then something beautiful happened. One morning, Samuel sat down at his kitchen table, took out a piece of paper, and wrote a letter to his wife. He didn't write emails. He wrote in cursive. And in that letter, he said, "I don't know what's happening, but I feel a little fire again, not just in my body, but in my heart. And I want you to know that I still see you, I still want you, and I hope you haven't given up on me." He placed that letter in her book on the nightstand. Later that night, she found it. They didn't say much. They didn't need to. Because sometimes when the blood starts flowing, so does everything else. Samuel still drinks that walnut smoothie every morning. He says it's not just about performance anymore. It's about connection. He feels sharper, calmer, and more grounded. He even started walking a mile every morning with his wife. That's what L-Arginine does. Not just physically, but emotionally. It reminds you that your body hasn't given up. It just needs the right tools to come alive again. Now, imagine what happens when you combine beetroot, the vessel opener, with L-Arginine, the nitric oxide builder. You get a double action support system for blood flow, stamina, and energy. But we're not done yet. There's one more piece to this puzzle. Because even with strong circulation and healthy arteries, your hormones still matter, especially testosterone and the nutrient that powers it from behind the scenes. Let me show you the silent hormone helper most men are missing, and how one man got his strength and his sleep back using it.
Now let's talk about something that almost every man over 60 is missing, but few ever think about. It's not a hormone, it's not a medication, it's not even something you get from food. It's sunlight, or more specifically, vitamin D. You may already know that vitamin D supports bone health. What most men don't know is that vitamin D is also a key player in your testosterone levels, energy, sleep, and even sexual drive. In fact, studies show that low vitamin D levels can mimic all the same symptoms as low testosterone. Low energy, muscle loss, depression or brain fog, low libido, weak immune function, trouble sleeping or staying asleep. Sound familiar? Here's the thing. After age 60, your skin doesn't make vitamin D as easily as it used to. And unless you're getting 15 to 20 minutes of direct morning sunlight on your bare skin every day without sunscreen, you're likely falling short. And if you're like most men, that deficiency builds quietly. It doesn't scream. It whispers. It slowly steals your spark and replaces it with tiredness, confusion, and disconnection. Let me tell you about George. George is 63. He's a retired firefighter from Houston, Texas. Tall guy, still strong in the shoulders, but when he walked into my office, he looked empty. He sat down and said, "Doc, I don't recognize myself anymore. I don't sleep, I don't feel like doing anything, and my wife keeps asking if I'm okay, and I don't have an answer." George had been battling low motivation for over a year. He chalked it up to retirement blues. But what concerned me was how quickly he'd lost muscle tone and how little interest he had in anything, even intimacy. So we ran a few blood tests. And sure enough, his vitamin D levels were near the bottom of the chart. Now, George had never thought of himself as the vitamin guy. He laughed when I brought it up. But I explained it to him like this. George, vitamin D is like a light switch in your body. When it's off, the rest of your system goes dim. But when you flip it on, your hormones, your mood, your strength, they all start coming back online. So we started simple. 5,000 IUs of vitamin D3 every morning with breakfast. A 15-minute morning walk outside with sleeves rolled up and no hat. No other changes. No diet plans, no workout routines. Just sunlight and support. The first 10 days were slow. George said he didn't feel much, maybe a little less groggy. But by week 2, things began to shift. He started falling asleep faster. He stopped waking up 3 or 4 times a night. And his wife told him he didn't look as tired anymore. But the real turning point came at the 30-day mark. George came back in, sat down, and grinned. Doc, something weird happened. I woke up this morning, and I wanted to move. I actually went out back and fixed the shed door that's been broken for 6 months. Then he paused. And later that night, I kissed my wife. Not out of habit, but because I wanted to. That moment, that shift, didn't come from a pill that forced a response. It came from George's body slowly waking back up and remembering how to feel. He had restored something that had quietly faded. He wasn't doing more. He was simply supporting his body naturally, so it could do what it already knew how to do. Now, every morning, George wakes up at 6:30, puts on his sneakers, and walks around the block with a thermos of coffee and his sleeves rolled up. He says the sunshine feels different now, like medicine he never knew he needed. And the best part? His wife is walking with him, because when one partner starts to shine again, it tends to spread. That's the power of vitamin D. It's not flashy, it doesn't work overnight, but it helps you build your vitality from the inside out, one morning at a time. And when you combine it with the other tools we've already covered, beetroot to open blood vessels, walnuts to fuel nitric oxide, and now vitamin D to support hormones, your body starts to respond in a way that feels complete. But don't just think of these tools as separate pieces, because what happens when you combine them is even more powerful than any one of them alone. Let me explain how these 3 elements work together and what kind of life you can expect when they all click into place.
Up until now, we've looked at each piece of the puzzle on its own. Beetroot to open the pathways, L-Arginine to fuel nitric oxide, vitamin D to power your hormones and lift your drive. But the real transformation doesn't happen from just one of these. It happens when you bring them together. Because alone, each of these tools can help, but when combined in the right way, in the right rhythm, they create something much bigger than the sum of their parts. Let me explain. Beetroot gives your body a powerful source of plant-based nitrates. These nitrates are converted into nitric oxide, which relaxes your blood vessels and increases circulation. That's step 1, opening the pipes. Then comes L-Arginine, found in foods like walnuts and pumpkin seeds. L-Arginine doesn't just ride along with beetroot, it amplifies it. It gives your body the raw materials to keep producing nitric oxide, especially when paired with nitrates. It's like giving the engine both fuel and spark. And finally, vitamin D steps in as the silent stabilizer. It supports your testosterone, your sleep, your mood, and your body's ability to respond to the changes beetroot and L-Arginine are creating. Together, they don't just help your blood flow better, they help you feel like a whole man again, mentally, emotionally, and physically. I often use this metaphor with my patients. Beetroot is the oil.
It keeps everything running smooth. L-Arginine is the spark. It fires up the system. Vitamin D is the ignition. It turns everything on and keeps it running strong. Without one of them, you might still get some benefit. But when you combine all three, that's when things really start to work and stay working. Let me give you a real-life example. One of my patients, Dennis, age 70, had been struggling with low energy and performance for years. He'd tried beetroot juice on its own and saw some mild results. Then he tried L-Arginine as a supplement. Again, some small improvements. But it wasn't until we stacked all three that things clicked. We created a simple morning protocol. A beetroot smoothie with banana, almond milk, and walnuts for L-Arginine, 15 minutes of morning sun, and a small vitamin D3 supplement with his breakfast. That's it. No medications, no restrictive diets, no intense workouts. And within 2 weeks, Dennis was waking up refreshed. His mind felt clearer. He told me he had the confidence to initiate intimacy again, something he hadn't done in over a year. He said, "Doc, it's like I finally found the gear I've been stuck searching for." What made the difference? Consistency, simplicity, synergy. He wasn't chasing magic. He was fueling his body the way nature intended, by giving it what it had been silently craving for years. Now, does this mean you'll feel the same results overnight? No. But it does mean you'll be working with your body, not against it. It means your circulation, hormones, and energy can all move in the same direction instead of fighting each other. And the best part? This kind of healing doesn't come with side effects. It comes with small wins, one morning at a time. Your body isn't broken. It's just waiting for the right combination of support to turn back on. And once you feel it, the warmth in your chest, the clarity in your thoughts, the quiet confidence in your mornings, you'll understand what Dennis, George, Samuel, and Frank all discovered. You never really lost your manhood. It was just waiting for the fuel to return. Now, before you jump in, there's one thing we need to talk about. The mistakes most men make. The small, everyday habits that unknowingly block these results and slow progress. Let's make sure you don't fall into those traps.
Now, before you jump into this new morning routine, let's slow down. Because as powerful as beetroot, L-Arginine, and vitamin D can be, there are certain habits that can quietly cancel out their benefits. These aren't big, obvious mistakes. They're small choices that seem harmless, even normal. But over time, they chip away at your energy, your circulation, and your manhood. And the worst part? No one ever told you they were mistakes. So today, I want to shine a light on the 5 most common habits I see in men over 60. Habits that hold them back from the results they truly want. Not to shame, not to blame, but to empower you with awareness. Because once you know what's slowing you down, you can finally move forward. Let's start with the most common one. Mistake number 1, skipping breakfast. I can't tell you how many men I meet who say, "Doc, I'm not really hungry in the morning," or "I just have coffee and get on with my day." The problem? That means your body starts the day with no fuel. And when your body doesn't get fuel, especially after 60, your circulation suffers, your hormones lag, and your energy stays stuck in neutral. Think of breakfast as the first dose of medicine your body gets each day. Even something small, like a smoothie or handful of walnuts, can kickstart blood flow and nitric oxide production. Skipping it? That's like trying to drive your car without turning the key. Mistake number 2, coffee on an empty stomach. I know, this one stings. Coffee is a morning ritual for so many men. But here's what most don't realize.
Coffee on an empty stomach can crash your hormones. It spikes cortisol, your stress hormone, and throws off your testosterone rhythm. It can also irritate your gut, mess with blood sugar, and increase fatigue later in the day. I'm not saying you need to give up coffee. Just have something in your stomach first, even a small protein shake or some nuts. Protect your body from the inside, and your energy will last much longer. Mistake number 3, low-fat diets. Back in the day, fat was painted as the bad guy. Doctors told us to eat low-fat everything, low-fat cheese, skim milk, egg whites only. But here's the truth. Your body needs healthy fat to make testosterone. No fat means no building blocks for your hormones. Good fats like eggs, nuts, seeds, olive oil, and even a bit of grass-fed butter are essential, especially for older men. If you've been avoiding fat, you may be starving your manhood without even realizing it. Mistake number 4, relying only on pills. Now, there's no shame in using medication when needed, but too many men rely on it without fixing the root cause. Pills can mask the symptoms, but they don't rebuild your circulation. They don't restore your nutrient levels. They don't help your hormones function naturally. And over time, that reliance can numb your body's own systems. I once had a patient, James, who was taking 2 different pills to feel something again. But when he switched to a morning routine of beetroot, walnuts, and vitamin D, he slowly weaned off of both, not because he forced himself, but because his body didn't need them anymore. Mistake number 5, sedentary mornings. Here's one of the most silent saboteurs. Doing nothing in the morning. Sitting, scrolling, watching TV. No movement, no sunlight, no breath work. And you might think, well, I'm retired. I've earned the rest. Yes, you've earned rest, but your body still craves movement, especially first thing in the morning. Why? Because nitric oxide, the key to circulation and arousal, is triggered by motion. Even 5 minutes of stretching, even a short walk to the end of the block, even deep breathing with arms raised overhead. These simple movements wake up your blood vessels and tell your body, it's time to start living again. Now here's the truth I want to leave you with. You didn't fail. You didn't do anything wrong. You were simply never told how these habits affect your manhood, your mood, and your energy. And once you do know, you're no longer stuck. You're no longer guessing. You now have the power to take small, wise steps that rebuild you from the inside out. That's the beauty of this path. It doesn't require perfection, just a little more awareness and a little more intention each morning. Now, let's tie it all together. Let me give you a simple, step-by-step morning routine, one you can follow daily to restore your strength, your vitality, and your confidence.
Now that you know what your body needs, let me show you how to bring it all together. You don't need a dozen supplements. You don't need a complicated routine. And you definitely don't need to give up your favorite foods or change your whole life. This isn't a diet. This is a beginning, a new rhythm that supports your energy, your circulation, and your manhood, one simple morning at a time. Let's walk through it together. Step 1. Wake up and hydrate. The very first thing your body needs when you wake up is water. Not coffee, not breakfast, just pure room temperature water, about 10 to 12 ounces. Why? Because while you sleep, your body loses water through breathing and sweating. And when you're even slightly dehydrated, your blood becomes thicker, your circulation slows, and your organs work harder. So make this your new rule. Before the day begins, water goes in. Keep a glass by your nightstand if it helps. This one habit alone can improve your digestion, mental clarity, and blood flow. Step 2. The morning smoothie, beetroot and walnut. This is your powerhouse. It gives you natural nitrates, L-Arginine, healthy fats, and clean energy, all in one delicious blend. Here's a simple recipe I share with my patients. Half a cooked beetroot, or 1 tablespoon beetroot powder, 1 ripe banana, a 1/4 cup raw walnuts, half a cup almond milk or water, 1 teaspoon honey, optional, a few ice cubes. Blend it for 30 seconds until smooth. This smoothie is more than just food. It's circulation in a cup. It supports your blood flow, energizes your mornings, and fuels your body with everything it needs to perform, not just physically, but emotionally, too. Step 3. Take your vitamin D or go outside. Now that you've hydrated and fueled up, it's time to turn on your hormone system. If you live in a sunny place, this part is easy. Go outside for 10 to 15 minutes, roll up your sleeves, expose your forearms and face to the sun. No hat, no sunscreen, just for this short walk. Let the sunlight hit your skin and do its work. If you don't have access to sun or it's winter, take a vitamin D3 supplement. Most men do well with 2,000 to 5,000 IU, but check with your doctor. This step balances your testosterone, supports your bones, and helps regulate your sleep and mood. And it's completely natural. Step 4. Move your body, even a little. Now, I'm not talking about a gym workout or a 5-mile walk. Just 5 minutes of gentle movement. Stretch your arms overhead. Rotate your shoulders. Take a deep breath and bend forward. Walk around the house. March in place while brushing your teeth. Why? Because this movement wakes up your nitric oxide production, which boosts circulation and supports everything from memory to manhood. Even better, do your morning sun exposure and movement together. Take your walk around the block, stretch in the sunlight, or just breathe deeply at your front door. This is your on switch for the day. Optional bonus, breath work or stillness. If you have an extra few minutes, try this. Sit in a chair, close your eyes, breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, breathe out slowly for 6 to 8 seconds. Repeat 5 times. This simple breathing slows your heart rate, calms your nervous system, and helps reduce stress hormones like cortisol, which can mess with your testosterone and circulation. You'll feel calmer, sharper, and more in control. That's it. That's your new beginning. No more guessing, no more wondering what's missing. This routine, just 20 to 30 minutes each morning, can completely shift how you feel, move, and live throughout the day. Frank does it. Samuel does it. George does it. And now it's your turn. Because when you start your day with intention, your body starts to trust you again. It begins to respond, to repair, to return to its natural rhythm. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent. Now, let me leave you with one final message. Not as a doctor, but as a man who's walked beside hundreds of others just like you. Before we wrap up, I want to speak to you directly. Not as your doctor, but as another man who's walked beside many others through this season of life. You've done hard things. You've carried responsibilities. You've been the provider, the protector, the steady hand. You've stayed strong for others when you felt tired inside. You've pushed through pain, worked through silence, and kept going, even when no one said thank you. So if no one has said it lately, let me say it clearly. I see you, and you deserve to feel strong again. Not just in your body, but in your spirit.
You see, there's a myth out there that when a man gets older, his worth goes down, that his best years are behind him, that he's supposed to slow down, shrink back, and accept whatever life gives him. But that's not truth. That's noise. Because aging doesn't steal your manhood. Ignoring your body does. And what you've learned in this video about beetroot, L-Arginine, vitamin D, movement, and consistency, it isn't just about food or routines. It's about reclaiming the parts of you that were never truly lost, just buried. Buried under stress, buried under silence, buried under years of caring for everyone else first. But here's what I want you to know. Your body remembers. It remembers how it felt to wake up with energy. It remembers the spark of confidence. It remembers the quiet pride of being present, capable, and connected. And no, you don't need to do everything perfectly. You don't need six-pack abs or a flawless routine. You just need a fresh start, a gentle return to the man you've always been. George found it with a walk in the sun. Frank found it with a beetroot smoothie. Samuel found it in a letter to his wife. And James? James found it in the mirror one morning when he realized he felt alive again. It's not too late. It's never too late. Because the truth is, you're not just growing old. You're growing into your second strength. The first strength was about endurance, building, surviving, sacrificing. This strength? It's about wisdom. It's about living from the inside out. It's about owning your value, speaking with calm confidence, and waking up with purpose. And it starts with simple, daily choices, not grand gestures, not dramatic changes, just honest care for the body that's carried you this far. So if you've been tired, if you felt off, if you've quietly wondered, is this just how it is now? The answer is no. You are not done. You are not broken, and you are not invisible. You're in a new chapter, one where your energy, your drive, your clarity, and your connection can be rebuilt morning by morning, habit by habit. This journey isn't about going back in time. It's about going forward with intention, with strength, and with the quiet dignity of a man who refuses to give up on himself. And I'll be right here, cheering for you every step of the way.
If today's video gave you something to think about, something to feel, or even just one small action to try tomorrow morning, I'd love to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, what part of this message hit home the most? Was it the story of Frank or George, or maybe Samuel's letter? Or maybe it was just knowing that you're not the only one going through this. Whatever it is, you are not alone. There are thousands of men just like you watching this right now, starting the same journey and discovering that life after 60 can still be strong, full, and deeply meaningful. And if you want more science-backed, doctor-reviewed guidance made just for men over 60, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Every week, I'll be right here with you, sharing real tools, real stories, and real steps to help you feel alive again. If you know a friend, a brother, or even a younger man who could benefit from this, send it to them. Because this kind of wisdom isn't just for you. It's for every man who deserves to age with dignity and strength. So let's grow this community. Let's keep learning, and let's keep showing the world what vitality after 60 truly looks like.